Hi, my name is Gina Ortiz-Jones. I am a proud Air Force veteran. I served in the Air Force for several years, just shy of 3 years. I'm proud that my entire career has been in national security and in public service, and I most recently served as the 27th Undersecretary of the Air Force.
Share some highlights about your past and current community service involvement, specifically in the San Antonio and Bexar County area.
Well, I am proud to call San Antonio home. I am proud of the way in which my country and our community has invested in me, allowed me to grow up healthy, get an education, and serve our country. It was an Air Force ROTC scholarship that took me from John Jay High School to Boston University and allowed me to start my career as an intelligence officer in the Air Force. I came back when my mom became ill, and I worked actually at Fort Sam Houston supporting military operations in Latin America. I then joined the Defense Intelligence Agency as part of the initial team that stood up U.S. Africa Command, supporting everything from the vote for independence in southern Sudan to the Libya intelligence, to serving in the Libya intelligence crisis cell. I am extremely proud also of my time serving at the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, working at the intersection of economic and national security. Most recently, when I served as the Undersecretary of the Air Force, I want to touch on a couple of things that may not be super familiar. And certainly, I think, given my own experiences in service, when I was honored to serve as the #2 in the Department of the Air Force, I really took to heart what it meant to ensure that we were ensuring everybody could serve to their full potential. As the second highest civilian in the Department of the Air Force, you are charged with making sure that the force, both the Air Force and the Space Force, are ready for the future. You got to be ready to fight tonight, but also win tomorrow. And that always means that we've got access to the best and brightest talent. When I served in the Air Force, I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And many of you may know what that means, which means you could raise your right hand to say you're going to serve and protect the Constitution, but you couldn't be open about who you were. And I carried that experience with me to ensure, again, that we were removing those needless barriers that were preventing our men and women from serving to their full potential. One of those things I am most proud of is frankly looking at the data to see where we might have some more challenges with our racial and our gender disparities in the Department of the Air Force. I'll never forget, it was just shortly after I got into the seat, the Secretary and the team was briefing out the results of where some of these disparities were when it came to promotion rates, who was selected for certain positions, who were selected for certain educational opportunities. All of these are so critical because, again, they talk about the trajectory of your career. And for me, it was very fascinating because they were briefing it out first by gender, right, men and women, and then separately by race and ethnicity. And as a woman of color, as the first woman of color to serve as the Undersecretary of any military department, I did not see myself in how they were briefing out those results. And so I charged the team, hey, go look at the intersection of race, gender, and ethnicity. And if you think these two, we've got some challenges in how you've just presented the information, look at the intersection. And that's exactly what the data showed us. The data showed us that the progress of white women was masking the lack of progress of women of color. And that is really important and really my lesson to any young woman serving, frankly, anybody in a leadership position is really challenge your organization to ask the tough questions, right? Why not, and where's the data? And when the data shows you that you've got some work to do in certain areas, that really is, the trust that the organization has placed in you to make right, to ensure that everyone can serve to their full potential. So we use that critical data to make some changes and to be cognizant of that as we move forward.
What advice would you give a young woman at the beginning stage of her military career?
Well, first of all, let me say congratulations. Congratulations on having the courage to serve. Less than 1% of our country will wear the nation's cloth. So let me thank you for making the decision to serve. And I wish you, frankly, the very best. because you are embarking on a journey, regardless of how long your journey is, right? Several years, several decades. Again, you are part of a small group that has made this very, very important decision, the nation's highest calling. Never underestimate your ability to make things better for your immediate unit, but also for the service and the country that you are serving. So thank you for making the decision. And frankly, we are excited about the ways in which you will strengthen our country.
What is a quote, motto, or scripture that you live by?
So my faith is extremely important to me. My church is actually not too far from here on the east side off Rigsby, Senior Santo Nino Catholic Church. The first and only Filipino Catholic parish in North America. So many of you know it, Luke 12:48, which is unto whomever much is given, much is required. That is something that my mom, who raised my sister and I by herself, reminded us every single day that we were lucky. We were not smart. We were lucky to have been born in this very special country, and we'd have to find a way to give back. And that's why I was honored to serve in a number of ways in the Air Force, and it's why my sister proudly serves as a drill instructor in the United States Navy to this day. I also have just a couple of things that I always like to share with anybody who asks me, right? A couple of things that I think have contributed to my success. One, be kind, right? No one wants to work with or for a jerk, so be kind. Two, work hard. Do not get outworked, right? Work smart, but work hard. Three, be so good they cannot ignore you. Be so good they cannot ignore you. You may often find yourself the only or one of a handful in the room, and people will question why you're there or how you got there. Let them question, but then let your actions, let your record of success, let your work ethic very clearly explain to them how you got into the room and the way in which you're going to make that effort all the better for it. And lastly, do the damn thing. Do the damn thing, right? You're there for a reason. You have got as much to contribute as anybody else, so do the damn thing.
Hello, I'm Major General Retired Jimmy Keenan. I had the honor of serving 30 years in the United States Army.
Share some highlights about your past and current community service involvement, specifically in the San Antonio and Bexar County area.
When I retired in 2016, one of the most important things that I wanted to do was to be able to give back to our community here in San Antonio and Bexar County. I've had the honor of serving on the Children's Bereavement Center of South Texas board, where we have been able to really impact not only our community here in San Antonio and Bexar County, but also to ensure that the underserved counties to the south in Texas were also served. We have a center we were able to start in the Rio Grande Valley. We also responded to the impact down in Sutherland Springs and tragedy there, as well as most recently, we opened a center to support the community of Uvalde. I also have served as the chair of the Lift Fund Board, where we had the ability to make dreams come true for all of our citizens across San Antonio and Bexar County, as well as in other states across the South and the East. We are able to help small businesses have that start that they could not get with a traditional bank loan, and being able to give them those skill sets that they need to have a successful business. I also serve on the WellMed Charitable Foundation board as part of my duties as the Senior Vice President of Enterprise Clinic Operations for WellMed. During COVID, we knew the impact to our seniors across our communities, and we were able to set up WellMed Delivers, where we could actually deliver groceries to our seniors across the community. They did not have to be our patient. In addition to that, we have our senior centers here three in San Antonio that we partner with the city of San Antonio to make sure that there is a free and safe place for our seniors to go to get a hot meal, to also be able to realize their fitness goals, to help them live healthier lives, and also to give them that socialization and meet with other seniors and continue to interact and enjoy life. Finally, I also think what is important is being able to give back through Impact San Antonio. So making sure that there are grants available to those organizations that need them, that impact our communities every day. So again, being able to give back and to continue to give back, I think is important to our community.
What advice would you give a young woman at the beginning stage of her military career?
I would say, don't limit yourself and don't let others limit you. There are no limits. You know, when actually now the Army's gone back and taken a motto that when I was in the military early on is be all you can be. You can truly be all that you can be. You only limit yourself. And I would say also to remember, you have an opportunity to wear the cloth of your nation. You are a soldier first, and then you're whatever the training is that the military gives you. But you're a soldier first, and it is an honor to wear the cloth of your nation.
What is a quote, motto, or scripture that you live by?
Well, for me, you know, my mom and dad, I grew up in a little town in Southwest Arkansas of 1,500 people. And they always said, no matter what you do the best job you can. And that was whether it was picking peaches, corn, whatever chore or job that we had. For me, my first job was working at a Piggly Wiggly grocery store as a checker. I'll never forget that red double knit uniform. And I remember my dad always said, and my mom said, do the best job you can. So I always try to do that. The other thing I think is important and has been important throughout my life is making sure that the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is to exercise. That is my time, alone time, that time that I can have a discussion with God, with my parents who've departed, and really set my day and my intentions for the day, is to take that time very early in the morning, but to take that time to set the intentions.
My name is Sharon Nickelberry, and I am a Colonel, United States Air Force retired, and I spent 25 years in the Air Force as a force support and personnel officer.
Share some highlights about your past and current community service involvement, specifically in the San Antonio and Bexar County area.
So in terms of community involvement, I think I have been involved in the community throughout my Air Force career. I started off my career here at Kelly Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas before it closed, and also had a second assignment here at Randolph Air Force Base at the Air Force Personnel Center. And I participated in a variety of community service events, dating all the way back to 1998 when we had the floods here in the local San Antonio area. I helped participate in flood cleanup. I also participated in local Humanitat for Humanity. And also participated in various food kitchen events with some of my squadrons here in the area. But throughout my Air Force career, I've participated in a variety of different events. I think the one community service activity that I'm probably most proud of is a program that I participated in while I was stationed at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. The name of that program was called Smart Girls. And that was a program for young adolescent girls to help teach them emotional intelligence, communication skills, and how to deal with some of the daily issues that they were having in their lives at the time. That could be everything from bullying to communication to issues at home. It was basically a community service project where we would sit down with the girls for 4 hours every Saturday and do experiential learning activities to basically help them develop and grow as young women in the community. Also, as a squadron commander, I was a force support squadron commander at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. And one of my jobs was to lead and develop programs for the local Keesler Air Force Base community and also the surrounding Biloxi community. And we did everything from planning air shows for the community to highlight what the Air Force does for our country on a daily basis. But we also did local events like beach bashes and crawfish boils, any and everything to bring out our local Air Force Base community to participate in base events. So I've done a variety of different activities throughout my Air Force career. I just relocated here to the San Antonio area after retiring from the Air Force this past summer. So I haven't been involved in any community activities recently, but I'm definitely looking forward to what the future may bring here in any community service activities I can get involved with.
What advice would you give a young woman at the beginning stage of her military career?
Oh, wow, there's a lot, but I'll try to narrow it down to just 3 main things. Number one, I will say bloom where you are planted. Throughout our military careers, we will be asked to maybe take an assignment that is not necessarily what we wanted or do a job that's not necessarily what we wanted. But I think that there are many opportunities to learn from any job that you're placed into. So no matter what it is you're doing, be the best that you can be, do the best that you can do, and learn as much as you can, because every opportunity is an opportunity for us to grow. Number 2, I would probably say do your homework. You've got to be the best that you can be no matter what you're doing. And in order to be the best, you have to know your job inside and out. You have to read. You have to stay on top of current events. You have to stay on top of what's happening in your local community, what's happening across the United States, and what's happening globally as well. So do your homework, be prepared, and you'll be ready for any opportunity that comes your way if you do that. And then last but not least, number 3, I would say find a mentor and be a mentor. For me, early on in my career, I had individuals that helped mentor me and help me guide the way. And those were individuals that I could either just pick up the phone when I had an opportunity that was presented to me, or I had an assignment I didn't know, should I do this, should I not? A mentor can be anybody. It can be someone that you look up to. It can be somebody within your own career field. It can be someone who's outside of your career field. But it's basically a senior leader, typically, or anyone that's senior to you that can help provide you with guidance, with insight, with counsel. And in many opportunities, they can also be an advocate for you. So find a mentor, somebody that can be that sounding board that can help guide and direct you throughout your military career. And then as you progress, I would say be a mentor. It's important for us to give back, to reach back, and to bring up those behind us as well. So as you progress, don't forget the path that was laid for you, and reach out and bring others behind you as well.
What is a quote, motto, or scripture that you live by?
I would say one motto that has guided me throughout my Air Force career is the quote, lead, follow, or get out of the way. This was a quote that I was first introduced to in my father's Air Force Basic Military Training Squadron. It was written on the wall, so I saw this even before I joined the Air Force myself. And something about that quote just really hit home and stayed with me throughout my Air Force career. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. It means you have to pick one, right? You either have to step up and you have to be a leader, or you have to step back and you have to be a good follower. But at the end of the day, you can't be wishy-washy. You have to pick one, right? Because if you don't pick one, then you're just in the way. So lead, follow, or get out of the way. Be decisive, be thoughtful, think about your actions, think about the second and third order consequences of your actions, and then be decisive and make a decision. but lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Hi, my name is Ginger Stevenson, Senior Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy, retired with 26 plus years of service.
Share some highlights about your past and current community service involvement, specifically in the San Antonio and Bexar County area.
After recently retiring, even when I was on active duty here in San Antonio at Fort Sam, I always volunteer in our local community here in San Antonio, from United Way to Christian charities. But after retirement, I have more free time, and I'm working with several different nonprofits, from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, where we advocate for Black girls and women of color in the fields of health, education, leadership, economics, and financial freedom. I also, too, were a member of the Junior League of San Antonio, where I sat on the board of directors for their DEI as their chair for diversity and equality in the San Antonio area.
What advice would you give a young woman at the beginning stage of her military career?
Don't doubt yourself, don't doubt yourself, don't doubt yourself. If you can achieve it, you can believe it. And also, too, when people count you out, know that you're stronger than what they think you can be. I'm living proof.
What is a quote, motto, or scripture that you live by?
I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can tell you about a time when I was in the military. It always, no matter what room I walk in at that point, I was always the one female or the senior personnel in the room. And so you have to have strength and dedication to face whatever you're facing, and then know that you represent all the women that cannot be in that room that needs your voice. So with the strength of God and the power, it took me through days where my voice wasn't heard, to now my voice is heard. And so I tell women, keep up the fight, keep doing it. It doesn't matter. As long as you have faith, you can make it through.
Hello, my name is Chief Master Sergeant Patrice Vea, and I am serving in the United States Air Force, currently going on 24 years.
Share some highlights about your past and current community service involvement, specifically in the San Antonio and Bexar County area.
Yes, so previously I was the cheer coach for my daughter's Pop Warner cheer team. That was many years ago, and since then I have done numerous activities and volunteered for many community services within the San Antonio area, to include Habitat for Humanity, where we go and build houses for those folks in the local community that are less fortunate. Also, I have put together teams for us to do Meals on Wheels for the local community. And recently, I am also a part of a nonprofit organization called Friendship is the New Pretty. And in that organization, I am the chairman of our Vet Chat peer group, which is a community of women, veteran women, that come together to have a community of like-minded women, of military veteran women that have currently served or is currently still serving in the military.
What advice would you give a young woman at the beginning stage of her military career?
Yes, so I would give the advice to any young woman that is currently in the military or thinking of joining the military to just be themselves. As a woman, we have to be proud of who we are and what we do, and to maintain that professional image and capability to show everyone that we're able to do this job like anyone else. So just be professional and just be yourself, and also be the best that you can be.
What is a quote, motto, or scripture that you live by?
That one is quite simple. It's simply to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yes, so in that, You know, as a leader, as a military chief in the United States Air Force, like I said, I have 24 years of service. And what I have learned is that airmen just want to be cared for, right? And so I take that motto with me as to do unto others as I would have them do unto me, because I was once an airman 24 years ago. And I know that what was important for me is to be value added and to be cared for and have that leadership team that cares for me and what it is that I bring to the fight. So just doing unto others what you would have them do unto you is a model that everyone should be able to live by.